I'm sure many of you already know what this is about, going by the thumbnail, and why I would talk about something like this. In a nutshell, a mommy vlogger, Jordan Cheyenne, I believe is her name, she didn't edit her video. I don't know exactly how this happens at all, but it continues to happen. She kept in the last couple of minutes of a video where she was crying to the camera with her little son about their puppy having been in emergency care for parvo, I think she said, which is relatively common. She's crying to the camera and then does the hand. Why do they have to do the hand? Who started that? And then as she takes the hand away, it's like a different mom, right? The crying, sad mom is gone and the business mom is here.
Pray for us. We appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye. Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer down. Put your head down here. Act like you're crying really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video. Go like this. Put one hand up. Go like this. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth. Let them see your mouth.
No, Mom, I'm actually crying.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm actually crying.
I know. Look at me. Look at me. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
And of course, my partner said, you have to talk about this because I've talked about family vlogging on this channel. I have an entire video on why I do not watch any family vloggers, no matter how wholesome they may seem. And also, I think there's not necessarily another side to this, but I think some of the responses to this have been really interesting. I kind of want to talk about that too. So I'm going to be going mostly by the interview she did with Dad Challenge, I think is the name of the channel. Apparently he talks a lot about family vloggers and is very critical of influencers in general, particularly those that share their lives and their children. He contacted her after this happened and she actually got back to him and wanted to talk about it, which is, you know, admirable, I think. Of course, everyone is very cynical and thinks this is just a way for her to get more views. If so, that seems kind of stupid. I mean, this is not something you want to build a fan base off of, I would imagine. But anyway, let's jump into it, as some people would say. So about 14 minutes in, he asks her if she's actually sorry.
I would say I am genuinely sorry to my son that in that moment, I was not myself yesterday. I'm not going to blame it on that, but we were very emotional over the dog. So much going on.
How does that make any sense? It seems like if you were very emotional, you wouldn't be thinking about the thumbnail for the video. You possibly wouldn't be thinking about the video at all. You would just be sad and consoling your child. So very, very weird that she would even offer that up as reasoning.
I told him, I'm so sorry that at the end, he doesn't know the thumbnail. I just said
Yeah.
he had to take that picture for YouTube. And he doesn't know. He was like, it's fine, Mom. Like, I love you. I hope Rosie's okay.
He's a child who sees his mom upset. Of course he's going to say it's fine. I mean, kids... I don't know if this is something that influencers or just parents in general don't understand, or if this is an influencer thing where it's better if they don't understand that just because a child says yes doesn't mean that they actually mean it. Kids lie all the effing time. One of my favorite videos is that kid being fed, I don't know, broccoli or pasta or something by her mom, and she is visibly gagging and still telling her mom, it's good, I love it. It's the best video. My kid does that, not to that extreme, but almost everything I give them, even though they clearly do not like it, they'll say, yeah, it's good. Yep, love it. So just the fact she would even say that shows that she really doesn't understand what people are talking about. And this becomes, I think, even more clear later on where he explicitly asks her about privacy and about consent. The way she answers makes it pretty clear she doesn't really understand what people are talking about. Or again, she doesn't want to understand, because if she acknowledges that, then you probably wouldn't be a mommy vlogger in the first place. So let's go ahead and get to that part, I guess. About 19 minutes in.
I know that Everly, my daughter, would never ever be able to give consent to be on camera. Truly. I have to make that decision for her. Now that you're kind of waking up to this whole thing, were you ever aware, or did you ever put that in your brain that, holy shit, his whole life is going to be out there for everybody to see?
She kind of rambles and then says, yes, she has thought about it, and says like something like he's fully conscious, I think is the way she words it.
I've asked him before. He is old enough now. He's fully conscious. He's 8. I've said, like last night we had to talk about if he wants to be on camera anymore, and he's fully conscious of saying yes or no.
Implying that he can decide and consent basically, but then saying he's just a child, so you can't really take that seriously.
But I'm aware that because he's not 18, you know, like you said, take it with discretion.
So again, either she doesn't understand, or it's more that you can't really answer that honestly, right? Because the honest answer would be, no, I didn't think about his privacy. I didn't consider people Googling him later on, or him growing up and maybe really not liking having his life just like out there, you know? Or I did think about it. I did think about the privacy issue, but I decided that the money was worth it, you know? Or I convinced myself that it was worth it, that it was okay. Either way sounds bad, right? You don't want to admit that you hadn't thought about something so important, and you don't want to admit that you had thought about it but decided, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, that kind of makes you the bad guy, maybe a little bit. So I'm not surprised, in other words, that her answer is like all over the place and not really an answer. About 15 minutes in, this was kind of shocking to me. I guess she admits that family members have called her out.
My mom has talked to me recently a few times and said, hey, you really have to prioritize Christian and his mental health. And I thought, because I was getting comments of other moms saying, oh, my son also has this. My son has this speech delay. My son was in the NICU. Or like, your dog has parvo. My dog had it. And my mom would tell you, she's the type where don't tell anyone your business. She's glad that I've made this a job and I support Christian, but she also wants me to draw the line.
So that was really surprising to me that she would admit that she has come across criticism by her own family before. Makes it seem like, okay, maybe she has some idea that this isn't great, but continues to do it. But then she says that this whole thing has, you know, kind of been a wake-up call. I don't think she uses that term.
And in addition to yesterday, the past year, thinking about the balance I want to have, yesterday was really the moment for me of like, not only did I fuck up, but hey, let's reevaluate like everything with Christian going forward.
I think that's possible, right? I think it's possible that she's not really sorry and she's only apologizing because she was caught. But I also think it's possible that this was genuinely a wake-up call for her to see everyone saying like, no, dude, you don't do that. That's not okay. She's been doing this for a while, and the way she talks, she knows people personally who also are influencers, or at least talks to them online and says, you know, they're doing the same sorts of things with clickbait titles and all this sort of stuff. So in her world, something like this probably isn't a big deal, or at least to her, it seems like not a big deal. And so then seeing all these outsiders going, no, actually, that's not okay. Like none of us would ever do that. Maybe it was a wake-up call. Another thing I want to talk about is the fakeness issue. She constantly talks about in this interview, and I believe in one or both of her apology videos as well, that it's an issue of fakeness, that she doesn't want people to think her channel is fake.
I know it looked fake and disingenuous. If I saw someone do that and I had followed them and respected them, I would just be like, what the fuck? Like, your shit's fake?
I don't think that's really the issue. I mean, if the video had been like a fun day at the beach thing, and she left the last 2 minutes in where she's like, okay, kids, can y'all just be silly for the camera, for the thumbnail? And the kids just like jumping around, being goofy, having fun. I don't think there would be the uproar that there is for what actually happened, right? I think what people are concerned about is the child, is her response to her child, who is obviously upset. Her just so quickly going from we're a sad, struggling family to like business mode. Come on, we got to get this thumbnail. Cry on me. And mommy, I am crying. Yeah, I know, but like pose anyway. You know, it's pretty callous. It's a pretty callous response to a kid who is obviously genuinely upset. I think that's what people are taking issue with. One good thing, she talks about having other things to focus on with her channel. I guess a lot of her success has come from the kind of, what do you call it? Like boss babe? Am I even using that right? I don't think I am.
My ex and I broke up. I had a 400 credit score. I got up to almost 800, bought a house. So I had this like boss babe series teaching women how I improved credit, saved money. None of those videos included my son. And some of those hit 1 million views. I do believe in my heart that I have enough to offer as a woman without including my child in my content. And this is something, even before yesterday's incident, genuinely, honestly, that I've been internally battling with and haven't really told my audience.
Her point was that she doesn't necessarily rely on her kid for income. I don't know how true that is. None of us do. Obviously, we don't have access to her analytics or anything. But she does say that she's never done any child sponsorships.
I do have a few sponsors on YouTube. I don't have one child sponsor for him from a food company,
Awesome.
a kid clothing company.
I assume that means any like, hey, here's the, kids clothing. Hey, little Johnny, come over here, wear the outfits so we can make money. That's nice. Oh, and I forgot to say, this was before she actually deleted everything. She's deleted her YouTube, her Instagram, and her website, it seems like, too, are all gone after she said she got a bunch of death threats and stuff. She says we, like implying that people are also sending it to her child. I guess that's possible, but I seriously doubt that's what's going on. I think people are threatening her. Still not okay by any means. Ridiculous. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? I'd be very surprised if people are sending them to the child. I don't know. Again, glad she's never did sponsorships, and she does kind of commit to like not having him in videos anymore.
And I've been thinking about this way before yesterday. I think what's best for me going forward is to not include Christian in my YouTube content. I have to be very honest. On Instagram, we have, the puppy, and Christian's with me 24/7. I know that I would really like to feel confident in the fact that I can post a picture of him and still share people know who my son is,
Yeah.
But I think moving forward to take Christian off YouTube for the time being until he's older.
I guess, again, this is just the push she needed to not have him in stuff anymore, to focus on other content. But again, she ended up deleting everything anyway. Now, was that just a ploy to like get people to stop talking about her, or just to wait until things die down and then she'll start posting content again? She'll bring everything back again. Who knows? We'll just wait and see, I guess. So ultimately, I think she is sorry. Again, she did like agree to come on the podcast. I don't think that was just to get views. I don't know. That seems really silly to me. I think she does feel some amount of remorse. I think she does care about her kid. I'm sure she does, and is probably pretty embarrassed that she let her channel get to that point where she's doing just kind of creepy stuff like that. But the problem is, I don't think she really understands what the problem is. So she's sorry, but she's not sorry for the right thing. She's sorry for coming across as fake rather than sorry for just not being a good mom. Although she does say she apologizes to him and has apologized to him. So who knows? Maybe she's just not very good at expressing herself. Regardless, I think it's really unlikely that she's just like bad and evil. I think it's far more likely that she got caught up in the job. I'm sure at the beginning of her career on YouTube, she didn't do stuff like this. She didn't like try and force her kid to cry more in a thumbnail. But you keep doing it. You keep scooting closer and closer to that line. Before you realize it, you're way over the line. Maybe you just don't even realize how gross you're being until people point it out to you. Especially if supposedly other people in this field, quote unquote, are doing the same stuff.
I can't even tell you how many people I know behind the scenes who play up their thumbnails or what's happening or clickbait this and clickbait that. I am the first to admit it has been such a struggle for me, and you feel like you have to keep up with the content people are putting out or what's interesting.
Like she says in the very beginning of the interview, I think, like she never even thought about it. It never crossed her mind to like not put her kid in stuff. She's vlogging and she's seeing all these other family vloggers and they're doing the same stuff. So she never even thought of it as a problem. And now I want to talk about the response to her. In particular, some of the responses on this video, this interview. Several comments are convinced that she's doing like even worse things that we aren't seeing. Many not accepting her apology because she doesn't look sad enough. She's not crying. A lot of comments talking about body language, or her eyes, right? Shifting her eyes when she says certain things. For one thing, the abuse stuff, like you don't know what's going on in their lives behind the scenes, which is an argument I make for like not watching any family vloggers. But that doesn't mean that for sure, because this happened, she's like abusing her kid. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? Second, the shifting of her eyes, she shifts her eyes away when she says certain things, which means she's lying. There are some YouTube channels, a few, if I'm correct, that's their whole thing. They like go over YouTubers' apologies, all sorts of videos, and try to see if they're telling the truth or not. And they look at body language and their eyes, their posture, their tone, all this sort of stuff, as if it's like science. It's not. It's really not. So yeah, please don't indict people because they don't act the way you think they should act. And then the not crying, she's not sad enough, which is so funny to me because you know if she were crying in those apology videos or in this interview, you know people would have been all over her for that. They would have found fault with her crying, that it was too fake, it was too over the top. She's just trying to garner sympathy. I feel like we see this over and over and over again with apologies now. You can't win. If you make an apology, you just immediately lose. And I think it's because some people, they don't want an apology. They do not want to forgive you. They want to continue to be mad, again, because it's like fun, I guess. I truly don't know. But over and over, we see people either finding fault with the apology itself. If they can't do that, then it's, well, you shouldn't have had to apologize in the first place because you shouldn't have done the bad thing. Okay. Great. So just never apologize then. Never apologize, because they're never going to accept it. They're never going to forgive you. No matter what you do, they're going to continue to be mad. So yeah, that's the message you're sending in my eyes. Just like, never apologize. We want to be mad at you and we'll continue to be mad at you no matter what you do. So you might as well double down. Whether you believe she's truly sad or not, she's truly sorry or not, I mean, she agreed to come on this channel to talk about it. She agreed to no longer make her child front and center in her content. Again, this was before deleting everything. I have no problem with like kind of nitpicking what she said or questioning certain things, or again, saying like, I don't think she really understands what she's supposed to apologize for, as I did in this video. I'm sure others have done as well. But to just put her down as like absolute trash and being a bad mom, hating her child, I just don't see how that's helpful. And I think it's bad for the people who are doing this, for the people who just cannot forgive and forget or just, move on. You're probably doing it with other things too, which means you're probably pretty angry, maybe pretty hateful all the time, which is that's not good. That's not good for your mental health. I promise it is so much better to be like, I don't know if she's really sad. I don't know if she's really sorry. I hope she is. I hope she's genuine. She's gotten rid of her stuff. Hopefully, if she comes back, she'll make a change. We'll wait and see. Like, you can do that. You can be skeptical. You can be cynical even and believe that, she's probably not sorry, without just like writing off someone as a total monster. She has a weird job. She has a job that most people do not have. She probably is friends with people with this weird job who are also probably pretty weird, because look, a lot of people wouldn't want to do anything like that, put their kids on YouTube in the first place. So she's a weird person surrounded by a bunch of weird people doing weird shit. She probably has a fairly skewed view of the world and maybe parenting in general. I don't think that makes her a monster. I think she needed a wake-up call, and hopefully this was it. We'll see. So to wrap this up, even if a mommy vlogger doesn't do any of this stuff, doesn't like try to force their kid to cry in a thumbnail or beg their kids to be in a video, that shit's happening a lot. Or, I don't know, post content every single day, every minute of every day. There's still a chance their kid or kids will grow up not liking the channel, not liking having so much of their life searchable, clickable. There's a chance their kid will grow up to resent their parents and grow up to resent you for encouraging it. If you don't like this shit, don't watch it. Don't watch family vloggers, any family vloggers, because the only reason they do this is because you watch. That's how they make money. If people don't watch them, they'll stop doing it. And I know there's going to be, well, yeah, but I just watched this one channel and they're so obviously nice and it's great. They would never do anything like this. Okay. Keep telling yourself that. There was a family vlogger I talked about recently on this channel. It wasn't really focused on family vlogging, but I mentioned briefly that, I'm not a fan of that sort of thing. And there were a few comments from people saying, basically that no, she's different, their family's different, their content's different, it's really nice, blah, blah, blah. And then I go to the channel and one of the first videos is like all the kids lined up in these raincoats, and then they're in like the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, the rainbow, so that they look like the rainbow, and the discount codes in the description. Like, really? That doesn't make you feel icky. That doesn't seem like using the kids to make some extra money. I don't know, man. I don't like it. So basically why I don't watch family vloggers part 2. That's what this is. Why you will not see my little babies on this channel, and they are so cute. You don't even know. You don't even know. You literally don't know. They're so damn cute. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the video, subscribe. You can click the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload. You can also support the channel, patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. Thank you so much to all my patrons. And yeah, I'll have a new video soon. Thanks. Bye. One little side note I have on the interview and the dad challenge. Sorry, I don't know what his name is. I really don't care enough to look, to be honest. Partially because of this little thing where when he's talking about the privacy and consent issue.
And this is something I talked about with Shannon Rose, and I talked about this with a couple other OnlyFans accounts, and we unlocked a Reddit forum where a girl or a boy, I don't know who it was a teenager, their mother was an OnlyFans, and she wanted to commit suicide because her friends all found it, and they just relentlessly bullied this person, okay? It was just a heartbreaking story. Now, I'm not saying you're going down that route, but I'm just saying, when it comes to the future of Christian.
And he was, again, like tagging this along with like putting kids on camera as if they're the same thing. Made me very, very uncomfortable. There's a big difference between sharing your child's life on the internet forever when they can't really consent to that. They don't really know what that means. And you yourself, the mom or the dad or whatever, putting themselves on the internet forever. Those are two quite different things. It just came across as very, I don't know, conservative, very, very slut shamey, sex work shamey. Like, how dare you do this job and now your kid's being bullied. It's your fault. No, it's the kid's fault for being little dicks. I think as a parent, it's a tough thing because the world still does look down on this type of work, which really sucks. And, I think you do have to prepare your child for that reality, right? There's a good chance that kids are going to find it, and there's a good chance your kid's going to be bullied for it. But pairing that with the family vlogging, which I think is inherently problematic, and acting like it's wrong to be on OnlyFans if you have children, that's bullshit.